Hello and welcome to Rainbow Romance. First of all, I want to sincerely thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Your support and companionship mean more than you know, and they are a huge source of motivation for me to keep creating better, more meaningful stories every day. If you find something valuable here, please don't forget to subscribe and tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? Turn on notifications so you never miss our newest videos. Thank you so much. And now let's begin. Because sometimes the person who gets under your skin the most is the one person you should never be trapped alone with. Especially when he smells unfairly good. Especially when there is only one bed. And especially when you have spent the last 6 years telling everyone you hate him. I stared at the bed, then at Adrian, then back at the bed, as if staring hard enough might convince a second mattress to materialize through divine intervention. It did not. One bed. One ridiculously small bed. This is fine, Adrian said. I turned slowly. Define fine. He dropped his overnight bag beside the dresser and shrugged with the infuriating calm of a man who had never once been betrayed by hotel management. We're adults. That is an accusation, not an argument. His mouth twitched. I hated that twitch, mostly because I knew exactly what came after it, that crooked half-smile that had been ruining my blood pressure since college. You can take the bed, he said. I blinked. That was suspicious. Adrian Cross did not surrender anything. Not parking spaces. Not arguments. Not the last dumpling at dinner. Once, during sophomore year, he had spent 40 minutes proving I had incorrectly used the word literally. You're giving me the bed? Yes. What's wrong with it? He stared at me. Bed bugs. No, haunted. Eli. Someone died in it. Why would that be your third guess? Because you're being nice, and statistically that means something terrible has happened. Adrian laughed. Actually laughed. The sound caught me completely off guard. For one stupid second, he didn't look like my rival. He looked younger. Softer. His shoulders loosened. Dark hair falling across his forehead as he shook his head. And my chest did something deeply unprofessional. No, absolutely not. We were stranded because a storm had flooded the highway. The hotel had lost half its reservations. Our company had somehow booked us the last available room. That was all. This was logistics, not fate. Fate had better taste. I'll sleep on the floor, Adrian said. I glanced down. Hardwood. Cold hardwood. Then lightning flashed beyond the window, bleaching the room white. Thunder followed. The lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then darkness swallowed us. Oh, perfect, I whispered. Excellent. This is how horror movies begin. Something brushed my hand. I jumped. Adrian caught my wrist before I could stumble backward. Easy. One word. Low. Close. Too close. The darkness suddenly felt smaller. I could hear his breathing. Feel the warmth of his fingers around my wrist. Smell rain on his coat, and that stupid cedar cologne I had absolutely never noticed before. Except apparently I had. In detail. Let go, I whispered. His grip loosened immediately, but his hand didn't disappear. His fingertips lingered against mine for half a heartbeat. Maybe less. Long enough. Then the emergency lights clicked on, bathing the room in dim amber. We looked at each other. Adrian's expression had changed. No smirk. No challenge. Just something quiet I couldn't name. My pulse stumbled. He looked away first. I'll get extra blankets. There aren't any. He checked the closet. Nothing. I almost laughed. Of course. Storm. Blackout. One room. One bed. No blankets. The universe wasn't subtle. It was apparently writing cheap romance novels now. Adrian exhaled and looked at the mattress. Then at me. We share. I nearly swallowed my tongue. We what? The bed, Eli. I understood the noun. His eyebrow lifted. We stay on our own sides. Absolutely. No touching. Obviously. No stealing the blanket. You steal blankets. I do not. You did during the Denver conference. Silence. Adrian froze. I froze. Because there had only been one reason he could possibly know that. I stared at him. Slowly. Adrian. His jaw tightened. How? I asked. Do you know how I sleep? He said nothing. And suddenly the storm outside was no longer the most dangerous thing in the room. Adrian said nothing, which was somehow worse than an answer. I stood beneath the weak amber emergency light, staring at him while rain hammered the window hard enough to sound like handfuls of gravel. Adrian. It was a conference. Yes. I attended. Thank you for this groundbreaking historical record. His jaw shifted. I knew that look. It was the Adrian Cross version of panic, which meant absolutely nothing moved except one tiny muscle near his mouth. You fell asleep in the hospitality suite. I blinked. What? Denver. After the awards dinner. A memory surfaced. Too much champagne. A terrible speech from our regional director. Me sitting on a couch while waiting for a cab. Then nothing. You were there. I found you. My stomach performed an unpleasant little somersault. And you were asleep. That explains literally nothing. You were cold. 2 words. Quiet ones. They landed strangely. Adrian looked toward the rain instead of at me. I put my coat over you. I stared. No. There had been a coat. I remembered waking sometime after midnight beneath something warm and dark, smelling faintly of cedar. I had assumed it belonged to hotel staff. You did that. He shrugged. That stupid shrug. Like 6 years of hostility hadn't just developed a crack straight through the middle. Anyone would have. I wouldn't. That made him look at me. I would have drawn something inappropriate on your forehead and photographed it. I know. You know? You drew a mustache on me freshman year. You deserved it. I was asleep. Exactly. Defenseless. Prime mustache conditions. His mouth twitched again. And there it was. That dangerous softness. For 6 years, Adrian and I had competed over everything. Grades. Internships. Promotions. Who could deliver a presentation without checking notes? He irritated me professionally, personally, spiritually. But enemies weren't supposed to cover each other with coats. Enemies definitely weren't supposed to remember blanket-stealing habits. So, I said carefully, you stayed? His eyes flicked toward mine. What? In Denver. Long enough to know I steal blankets. Silence. Caught him. Adrian rubbed the back of his neck. It was possibly the first nervous gesture I'd ever seen him make. I waited for your cab. How long? It was snowing. That wasn't my question. Eli, how long? His voice dropped. 3 hours. My brain stopped. 3 hours. You sat beside me for 3 hours? You looked exhausted. Something inside my chest shifted. I didn't like it. I preferred Adrian arrogant. Arrogant Adrian was easy. I could hate arrogant Adrian. This version, the one who apparently remembered me shivering in Denver, was a problem. A catastrophic, broad-shouldered problem. Thunder cracked outside. I jumped to spite myself. Adrian noticed. Of course he noticed. You still hate storms. My head snapped toward him. Still. Too late. His expression closed. I stepped closer. When did you learn that? College. I never told you. No. The room suddenly felt very quiet. Adrian walked toward the bed and pulled back the blanket. Get some sleep. Oh, absolutely not. Eli, you know how I sleep. You know I hate thunderstorms. Apparently you've been collecting weird Eli trivia like you're preparing for a game show. He sighed. Can we not do this tonight? No, I moved directly into his path. Big mistake. Adrian stopped. We were suddenly inches apart. Close enough that I had to tilt my chin slightly to meet his eyes. Close enough to notice the tiny scar near his jaw. Close enough that breathing became something I had to remember manually. Why do you know so much about me? I whispered. His gaze dropped. Not to the floor. To my mouth. My entire body went still. There. Gone. Barely a second. But I saw it. Adrian stepped backward. Left side. I blinked. What? You sleep on the left. Another fact. Another impossible little fact. He turned away and began unbuttoning his shirt cuffs like he hadn't just detonated something inside my rib cage. I climbed into bed because apparently my survival instincts had resigned. Adrian lay down beside me. A careful distance remained between us. 6 inches. Maybe 8. It felt like nothing. Good night, Eli. Adrian. A pause. What? I stared into the darkness. Did you ever actually hate me? For several seconds, only rain answered. Then the mattress shifted. His voice came quietly behind me. No, my heart stopped. I turned. But Adrian had already closed his eyes. And somehow that single word frightened me more than any answer he could have given. Sleep became impossible. Not difficult. Impossible. Because Adrian Cross was lying 6 inches behind me after casually dropping the emotional equivalent of a grenade into the bed. No, he had never hated me. Wonderful. Fantastic. Exactly the information a person wanted at 1 in the morning while trapped in a blackout with the man he had spent 6 years aggressively pretending was not attractive. I stared at the wall. 1 minute. 2. 5. Stop thinking so loudly. I froze. I'm asleep. You just answered me. I talk in my sleep. Adrian sighed behind me. The mattress shifted. My entire nervous system immediately filed a complaint. Then sleep. I was trying before someone rewrote 6 years of my personal history. Silence. I rolled over. Adrian was already looking at me. Bad decision. Terrible decision. The emergency light from the hallway slipped beneath the door, cutting a pale line across his face. His hair was messy now, his shirt collar open, all that impossible corporate perfection finally coming undone. I hated how human he looked. I hated even more that I liked it. If you never hated me, I whispered, why did you act like you did? His eyes stayed on mine. I didn't. I almost laughed. You competed with me over everything. So did you. You stole my internship. You rejected it. You corrected me in front of Professor Bennett. You were wrong. You told my first boyfriend I was emotionally exhausting. He asked. My mouth dropped open. You could have lied. I was 20. That is not a medical condition. A laugh escaped him. Soft. Warm. Dangerous. I stopped breathing for half a second. Adrian noticed. His smile disappeared. There it was again. That shift. Comedy draining out of the room, leaving something quieter underneath. Something neither of us knew how to joke away. Why did you remember the storms? I asked. He swallowed. Because you called me once. I frowned. I never called you. You did. When? Freshman year. The memory arrived slowly. A dorm room. Rain against glass. A campus-wide power outage. Me drunk enough to be terrified and stupid enough to call the wrong number. Oh no. You answered? You talked for 47 minutes. I covered my face. Please kill me. You mostly complained about thunder. Kill me faster. And cafeteria lasagna. I was vulnerable. You also told me my hair made me look like a wealthy serial killer. Despite myself, I laughed. Adrian smiled. Then his voice softened. You fell asleep while I was still on the phone. My laughter faded. You stayed? Yes. That word again. Simple. Devastating. The storm growled outside. Closer this time. My fingers tightened around the blanket. Adrian's gaze dropped to them. Then, carefully, he moved his hand onto the mattress between us. Palm up. Not touching. Not asking. Just there. My chest tightened. What are you doing? You used to hold your roommate's hand during storms. I stared at him. How do you, Eli? Right. Apparently, this man had an unauthorized encyclopedia dedicated to me. Another thunderclap rolled overhead. Before dignity could intervene, my fingers found his. Adrian went completely still. So did I? His hand was warm. That was the first thing I noticed. The second was how gently his fingers closed around mine. No teasing. No victorious smirk. Just pressure. Steady. Reassuring. My heartbeat became embarrassingly loud. This means nothing, I whispered. Of course. It's storm-related. Obviously. Temporary medical assistance. Very clinical. Shut up. His thumb moved once across my knuckles. My breath caught. Adrian heard it. His eyes lifted to mine. Suddenly 6 inches became 3. Then 2. Neither of us moved. That was the problem. We didn't need to. The space between us seemed to disappear by itself. His gaze dropped to my mouth again. This time, he didn't look away. Eli. My name sounded different in his voice. Lower. Almost careful. What? His fingers tightened around mine. For one impossible second, I thought he was going to kiss me. And worse, I realized I wanted him to. Then Adrian whispered something that shattered every defense I had left. I remember everything about you because I tried very hard to forget. For several seconds, I forgot how words worked. Not metaphorically. My brain simply shut down, packed a suitcase, and left the country. Adrian was still holding my hand. His thumb had stopped against my knuckles. And that sentence, I tried very hard to forget, was now bouncing around my skull like a drunk man with a hammer. What does that mean? Adrian looked away. No, I blinked. No, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, absolutely not. You do not get to release a sentence like that into the ecosystem and then pretend it's endangered. Eli, explain. His jaw tightened. There he was again. Controlled Adrian. Corporate Adrian. The man who could survive hostile meetings without blinking. Unfortunately for him, I had known him too long. You're nervous. I'm tired. You rub your thumb against your index finger when you're nervous. He froze. Victory. Tiny, deeply satisfying victory. I smiled, then stopped, because Adrian was staring at me strangely. What? Nothing. That is clearly a something face. His laugh was quiet and almost sad. You notice things about me too. Oh, rude. I released his hand. Or tried to. His fingers tightened instinctively. We both looked down. Neither of us spoke. Then Adrian let go. The absence of his warmth was immediate. Stupidly immediate. He sat up and swung his legs over the side of the bed. I liked you. My heart kicked. What? In college. The rain filled the silence. Adrian stared toward the dark window. I liked you before we became rivals. Before the internships. Before Denver. Before all of it. Every sarcastic response I possessed died at once. How long? He laughed once without humor. You really like that question tonight. How long, Adrian? His shoulders rose with a slow breath. Freshman year. My stomach dropped. 6 years. No. Longer than 6. You're lying. I wish I were. I sat up. But you hated every guy I dated. Yes. You told Marcus his poetry sounded like a hostage situation. It did. Despite everything, a laugh escaped me. Adrian glanced back. For 1 second, we were ourselves again. Then his expression softened. I hated watching them touch you. There went my ability to breathe. He continued before I could speak. So I competed with you instead. That makes absolutely no sense. I was 20. Again, not a medical condition. This time we both laughed. Quietly. And somehow that made everything worse. Because underneath the jokes was something enormous. Years. Missed chances. Misunderstood looks. A code in Denver. 47 minutes on the phone during a storm. Every argument suddenly had another possible meaning. I looked at him. Why didn't you tell me? His face changed. Not dramatically. Adrian never did anything dramatically. But something behind his eyes closed. Because you made it clear. Made what clear? That you didn't want me. I frowned. When? Sophomore year. Winter formal. Memory flickered. Music. Cheap decorations. Adrian standing near the stairs in a black suit. Me talking too loudly because I was nervous. Then, oh God. I remembered. Someone had joked that Adrian and I fought like a married couple. And I had laughed. I had said, I'd rather kiss a parking meter. Adrian smiled faintly. There was no humor in it. You remember. My chest hurt. I was joking. I know that now. Adrian, you started dating Marcus 2 weeks later. The room became painfully small. I moved closer without deciding to. Our knees almost touched. You spent years believing I rejected you because of one stupid joke? No, his eyes met mine. I spent years believing you rejected me because every time I got close, you turned everything into a competition. My throat tightened. Because he was right. And suddenly I knew why. Competition had been safe. Wanting him had not. I thought you were doing the same thing. I whispered. Adrian went still. What? Thunder rolled somewhere far away. I looked at his mouth. Then his eyes. And for once, I didn't hide behind a joke. I didn't hate you either. Silence. His breath caught. Barely. But I heard it. Eli. I think I just didn't know what else to call it. Adrian leaned closer. Slowly. Close enough that his breath touched my lips. Close enough that one movement would erase years of misunderstanding. Then his phone rang. We both jumped. Adrian stared at the screen. And whatever he saw made every trace of warmth disappear from his face. Adrian didn't answer the phone. That frightened me more than if he had. 1 second ago, we had been inches apart, breathing the same air, standing on the edge of something 6 years overdue. Now his face looked carved from ice. Who is it? He turned the screen face down. No one. I stared at him. Interesting. Because no one just made you look like you witnessed a murder. Go to sleep, Eli. There it was. The wall. Back up in 3 seconds. Almost impressive. No, please. That stopped me. Adrian Cross did not say please when retreating from an argument. He weaponized logic until the other person surrendered from exhaustion. I lowered my voice. What happened? His phone buzzed again. This time, I saw the name. Marcus. My stomach dropped. My Marcus. Adrian's eyes snapped toward me. He hasn't been your Marcus in 4 years. The jealousy in his voice would have been adorable under literally any other circumstances. Why is my ex-boyfriend calling you at 1 in the morning? He works with Halston. My blood went cold. Halston Group. The company we were supposed to pitch tomorrow morning. The account Adrian and I had spent 3 months fighting to win. What does Marcus have to do with our pitch? Adrian stood. Nothing you need to worry about. Oh, good. My favorite sentence. Usually spoken immediately before something becomes very much my problem. He grabbed his jacket. I moved between him and the door. Move. No, Eli. Adrian. His nostrils flared. Tiny victory. What did Marcus say? He didn't say anything. Because you didn't answer. Exactly. Then call him back. No, why? His silence told me. Not everything. Enough. This wasn't about Marcus. It was about me. I folded my arms. What are you protecting me from? Adrian laughed softly. It sounded exhausted. You always do that. Do what? Figure me out 5 minutes after spending 6 years misunderstanding me. That hurt. Mostly because I deserved it. Then give me a chance to stop misunderstanding. His expression shifted. For a moment, he looked almost ready to surrender. Then the phone buzzed a third time. A message appeared across the screen. I only caught part of it. Tell Eli before tomorrow, or I will. My pulse stopped. Tell me what? Adrian closed his eyes. Damn it, Adrian. He walked to the window. Rain streaked the glass behind him. When Halston requested the final 2 candidates for this account, they didn't request both of us. I frowned. What? They wanted me. Something sharp twisted beneath my ribs. Of course they did. Adrian had the better numbers. The cleaner reputation. The terrifying cheekbones probably helped. I forced a shrug. Okay. I refused. My head lifted. You what? I told them we pitched together, or I walked. Silence. I stared at him. That makes no sense. It made sense to me. You could have had the account. I know. The promotion attached to it. I know. You've wanted that position for 2 years. I know, Eli. Then why? He turned. And suddenly there was no corporate Adrian. No rival. No armor. Just a man who looked tired of carrying something alone. Because you deserve to be in that room. My throat tightened. That's it. No, of course not. Nothing tonight could be simple. Adrian looked down. Marcus found out. He told Halston our history made you a liability. My history. He sent them old photos. Party pictures. Things from college. Anger flashed hot through me. And you knew? For 3 weeks. 3 weeks. You didn't tell me. I handled it. Something inside me cracked. There it was. The problem hidden beneath every beautiful revelation tonight. Adrian cared. Maybe he had always cared. But apparently caring meant deciding things for me. You don't get to do that. His brow furrowed. Do what? Protect me without asking. I was trying to keep him from hurting you. And you thought lying was better? I didn't lie. You let me walk into tomorrow blind. His face hardened. I fixed it. I didn't ask you to fix me. Silence slammed into the room. Adrian flinched. Actually flinched. Instant regret burned through me. But the words were already there. Between us. Ugly and alive. I never thought you needed fixing, he said quietly. I swallowed. Then stop treating me like I'll break. His eyes held mine. The storm outside had begun to fade. The one inside the room had not. Adrian picked up his phone. For a terrible second, I thought he would leave. Instead, he unlocked it and held it toward me. Every message, every email, everything he had hidden. No more protecting you from the truth, he whispered. I took the phone. Our fingers brushed. This time neither of us pulled away. Then I looked at the first email and realized Adrian had sacrificed far more than a promotion for me. The first email was dated 19 days ago. I read it once, then again, then a third time, because apparently emotional devastation required multiple passes for quality assurance. Adrian Cross, following our internal review, Halston Group is prepared to proceed with you as sole account lead. However, concerns regarding Eli Bennett's suitability remain. I stopped. Keep reading, Adrian said. I didn't want to. I did anyway. There were attachments. Photographs from college. Me drunk at a winter party. Me asleep on a fraternity couch with someone's ridiculous cowboy hat covering my face. A screenshot of an old social media post where 21-year-old me had described corporate networking as rich people complimenting each other's watches until money happens. Okay, that one was objectively funny. But beneath it was Marcus's message. Eli is talented, but unstable under pressure. Adrian knows this better than anyone. Their rivalry has always brought out the worst in him. My fingers tightened around the phone. He said that. Adrian nodded. And Halston believed him. They considered it. I scrolled, then found Adrian's reply. It was short. Painfully Adrian. If Eli Bennett is removed from consideration, withdraw my name as well. I looked up. You threatened to walk. Yes. You didn't negotiate? I did. How? I told them they were idiots. Despite everything, I stared at him. You told a multi-million-dollar client they were idiots? Professionally. A laugh escaped me. Wrong time. Completely inappropriate. Still happened. What does professionally calling someone an idiot look like? I used the phrase, fundamental failure of judgment. That is extremely sexy of you. Silence. Oh. Oh no. My mouth had betrayed me. Adrian's eyebrows lifted. I know what you meant. No, you absolutely do not. His mouth twitched. And somehow, standing in a half-dark hotel room while holding evidence that my ex had tried to sabotage my career, I wanted to laugh again. That was Adrian's strange talent. He made me furious. He made me competitive. And apparently, when everything collapsed, he made the ground feel solid. I looked back at the emails. There was another one. From Adrian. Longer. Eli is the strongest strategist on my team. His methods are unconventional because he sees solutions other people miss. Any characterization of his personality based on photographs taken years ago is irrelevant, unprofessional, and beneath the standards I assumed Halston maintained. My throat tightened. I kept reading. If you want someone who agrees with every person in the room, hire me alone. If you want the best campaign, you need Eli. I stopped breathing. Nobody had ever defended me like that. Not my managers. Not Marcus. Not even me. Why? Adrian looked exhausted. You already asked me that. Answer again. His eyes met mine. Because it's true. No, I stepped closer. Why were you willing to lose everything? Something changed in his face. Not everything. Your promotion. Not everything. The account. Still not everything. Then what counts as everything to you? Adrian went very still. And I knew. Before he said it. Maybe I had known for years, and simply kept translating it into a language that hurt less. Competition. Annoyance. Rivalry. Anything except this. You, he said. One word. No joke survived it. My eyes burned. I hated that. Crying was terrible branding. Don't. Adrian's expression softened. Don't what? Look at me like that. Like what? Like I'm something worth losing things for. He crossed the distance between us. Slowly. No grabbing. No dramatic declaration. He simply stood in front of me and lifted one hand. Then stopped. Waiting. That almost broke me more than anything. I nodded. His fingertips touched my cheek. Warm. Careful. His thumb brushed beneath my eye before the tear could fall. I never thought you were fragile, he whispered. My hand closed around his wrist. Then what did you think? His forehead touched mine. That you were worth standing beside. The storm outside had become rain again. Soft. Distant. I closed my eyes. For one suspended second, 6 years disappeared. Then my phone vibrated on the bed. A new email. Halston Group. Subject. Final pitch. Updated terms. I opened it. Read the first line. And felt my stomach drop. They know, I whispered. Adrian's hand fell from my face. Know what? I looked at him. About us. For the second time that night, Adrian Cross looked genuinely afraid. Not nervous. Not irritated. Afraid. He took the phone from my hand and read the email. His expression hardened line by line. Well, he didn't answer. Adrian. They received an anonymous disclosure. From Marcus. Probably. I laughed. It came out sharp. Great. Fantastic. Love that for us. The email was painfully polite. Halston had been informed that Adrian and I had an undisclosed personal relationship that could create a conflict of interest. Personal relationship. I stared at those words. Interesting. Apparently, Halston knew more about our relationship than we did. We don't even have a relationship, I said. Adrian looked at me. Wrong sentence. Terrible sentence. His face closed slightly. I know. No, you're doing that thing. What thing? The thing where you say I know while emotionally retreating to another continent. His jaw tightened. I took the phone back. They want clarification before the pitch. They want a reason to remove you. Then we give them one. Adrian frowned. What? A reason not to. I opened my laptop. Battery, 12%. Beautiful. Nothing inspired confidence like impending technological death. What are you doing? Saving our account. Our. I looked up. Yes, our account. You didn't spend 3 weeks defending me just so I could collapse dramatically into your arms. A pause. Although, Adrian. Just clarifying. I pointed at the chair. Sit. To my enormous satisfaction, he did. For the next 40 minutes, we rebuilt everything. Not the campaign. Us. Every weak point Marcus had tried to weaponize became part of our strategy. Our rivalry. Proof that we challenged each other. Our different methods. Complementary strengths. Our history. Irrelevant unless we allowed someone else to define it. Adrian watched me rearrange slides. You're smiling. I'm about to professionally ruin my ex-boyfriend's morning. That's my favorite version of you. My fingers stopped above the keyboard. Your favorite? He realized what he'd said. Too late. I smiled. Interesting. Finish the deck. No. We're documenting this. Eli. Adrian Cross has a favorite version of me. I'm reconsidering. Impossible. You remember everything about me. He looked at me for a long second, then smiled. Not the competitive smirk. Not the polished client smile. The real one. Small. Warm. Mine, no. Dangerous word. I turned back to the laptop. At 3:17 a.m., the battery died. The room went dark again. Perfect. We finished. Barely. Adrian moved beside me. Our shoulders touched. Neither of us moved away. That felt more intimate than it should have. What do we tell Halston about us? I asked. Silence. Then Adrian spoke. The truth. I swallowed. Which truth? That nothing happened. My chest sank unexpectedly. Then he continued. Because I was too afraid to let it. I turned. He was already looking at me. No jokes now. No rivalry. No 6 years of pretending. Adrian, I don't want our first real moment to happen because we're trapped in a hotel room. My pulse stumbled. Real moment. His gaze dropped to my mouth. Yes. Every nerve in my body woke up. I whispered, You're making a lot of assumptions. Am I? Annoying man. Beautiful, annoying man. I leaned closer. Just enough to make his breath catch. Maybe. His hand lifted toward my face. Stopped. Waiting again. Always waiting when it mattered. I closed the remaining distance. Not enough to kiss him. Enough that our noses almost brushed. Adrian exhaled shakily. I had never heard that sound from him before. It did terrible things to my judgment. Tomorrow, I whispered. His eyes searched mine. Tomorrow. After the pitch. And if we lose? Still tomorrow. If we win. I smiled. Definitely tomorrow. His forehead touched mine. A quiet promise. Nothing more. And somehow everything. Then my dead laptop suddenly chimed. We both jumped. The power had returned. The screen flickered awake. One new message appeared. Not an email. A scheduled notification from our company system. Final account lead recommendation. Adrian reached for the laptop. I got there first. The document opened. One name appeared at the top. Mine. I stared at it. Then at Adrian. You recommended me for the promotion? He said nothing. And suddenly I understood. The account wasn't the biggest thing Adrian had been willing to give up. His future was. For once, I had nothing sarcastic to say. This was medically concerning. I stared at my name on the screen. Eli Bennett, recommended account lead. Then I stared at Adrian. Then the screen. Then Adrian again. You did this. He leaned against the desk. Yes. You recommended me for your promotion. It was never my promotion. You have been talking about that position for 2 years. I wanted the position. That is generally what your promotion means. Adrian sighed. You're better for it. I laughed. Not because anything was funny. Because apparently my body had run out of appropriate emotional responses. Stop doing that. His brow furrowed. Doing what? Deciding I deserve things more than you do. I didn't decide. You literally submitted the recommendation. I gave them my assessment. Without telling me. His expression changed. He knew where this was going. Eli, no, I stood. The room suddenly felt too small again. You defended me to Halston. You risked the account. You recommended me for the job you wanted. And every single time, you decided alone. I was trying to help. I know. Then why are you angry? Because that was the terrible part. I wasn't only angry. I was touched. Terrified. Wanted. Guilty. And somewhere underneath all of that, painfully happy. Human emotions were badly designed. I don't want to be loved like a rescue mission. Adrian froze. The word hung between us. Loved. Neither of us corrected it. His voice became quieter. That isn't what this is. Then what is it? He looked at me for a long moment. When I recommended you, I wasn't sacrificing my future. It looks exactly like that from here. No, he stepped closer. I was choosing the person I believed could do the job better. That still cost you something. Yes. There it was. No denial. No romantic speech pretending love made consequences disappear. Just yes. I swallowed. Doesn't that bother you? Of course it bothers me. That surprised me. Adrian laughed softly. You think I'm some kind of saint? I have literally never thought that. Good. He moved closer. I wanted that job. Part of me still wants it. Part part of me hates that you're better at the parts of it that matter. I blinked. That may be the nicest insult you've ever given me. I'm trying to be emotionally available. Don't interrupt. I pressed my lips together. He continued. I can want something and still believe you deserve it. The anger inside me loosened. Not disappeared. Loosened. That mattered. And if I get it, I'll be furious. I stared. Adrian smiled. Then I'll buy you champagne. And compete with me for the next promotion? Obviously, something warm broke through my chest. There he was. Not a martyr. Not a protector. My rival. Maybe something else too. But still Adrian. I stepped closer. You promise? To professionally torment you for the foreseeable future? Yes. Absolutely. I laughed. He did too. And suddenly his hands were near mine. Not touching. Waiting. I closed the distance myself. Our fingers intertwined. No storm this time. No excuse. Just choice. Adrian looked down at our hands. Then at me. Tomorrow, he whispered. I remembered. After the pitch. Our first real moment. Tomorrow, I agreed. Morning arrived obscenely fast. By 8:30, we were standing inside Halston's glass conference room, wearing yesterday's clothes beneath emergency purchase jackets. Marcus sat at the far end of the table. Of course he did. His expression when he saw us enter together? Delicious. He looked at Adrian. Then me. Then our matching lack of sleep. Interesting conclusion, Marcus. Incorrect. For now. The presentation began. And something strange happened. Adrian stopped trying to beat me. I stopped trying to beat him. We challenged. Interrupted. Corrected. Built on each other's ideas. For the first time, our rivalry became what it should have been all along. Partnership. When the final slide disappeared, the room went silent. Halston's director folded her hands. One last question. My stomach tightened. She looked directly at us. Given your personal history, why should I trust the two of you with this account? Adrian opened his mouth. I touched his wrist. My turn. Because we spent 6 years trying to prove which one of us was better. Marcus smiled faintly. I smiled back. And last night, we finally figured out we were asking the wrong question. The director leaned forward. What's the right one? I looked at Adrian. He was already looking at me. How much better are we together? Silence. Then the director smiled. And under the table, where nobody could see, Adrian reached for my hand.